Glad to have you back. Thank you for making TVC News your preferred station for the local government and LCDA election broadcast on this day, July the 22nd, as we keep a tab on the process. And we have all our correspondents across 20 and 37 local governments and local council development areas who have been filling us in with reports about how the process is going on in all these places. Of course, what is significant to tell about this election is that the election is relatively smooth in all of the areas reported so far. It's going on smoothly, and there has been no significant reports of violence, except, of course, in somewhere in Ishaga, in Oshodi Solo area, where our correspondent reported some disturbance by some hoodlums in that area. It has been brought under control, and a minor disturbance also in Agege, where there's an allegation that some hoodlums belonging to one political party hijacking electoral materials. We also have reports of voter apathy in some areas, but so far the election is progressing. We're continuing with analysis of the process, and I still have with me Mojeed, Jamiu and Janet Afolabi. Just before that break, gentleman and lady, we were looking at the confidence in the local, or the lack of it in governance at the local government level, and we're talking about how even the National Union of Teachers has said tacitly that, look, let the states pay our salaries. We're not against local government autonomy. Is that in itself an expression of lack of confidence in the local government? Janet?
It's an expression of lack of confidence in the local government councils, and is an expression of other people, apart from the teachers, other rural dwellers, that they are not feeling the impact of governance at the grassroots, because these are the people closest to them, the local government chairman and the councillor. If you can't even see the local government chairman, at least you can grab the councillor, because the councillor is your direct representative. Sometimes the local government chairman are evasive. A lot of people disturb them, give them pressure, but the councillors are more on ground. So lots of those at the grassroots, they have lost confidence. They no longer trust these people that are supposed to represent them. They no longer believe in this governance that is supposed to be brought to their doorsteps. The governance has been taken far away from their doorsteps, that even when they go to the farm, they cannot even feel the impact of governance. And what is responsible? What are some of the things that are responsible for this lack of impact? I think number one is low financial base at the local government. 2, limited revenue. They have very limited revenue. There is also lack of accountability, and of course large-scale corruption, even with the low financial base. And they always, most of the time, they employ unskilled, unqualified, and inexperienced staff. The information officers of the local government areas, what is their function? Is to go out and sensitize people, but they don't even know their job. They don't even know what they're supposed to do. And the one that is even like an albatross on this local government chairman is the interference by the higher tiers of government, who disrupt, so to speak, I want to use that word, who distorts the structure, their power, and the finances, therefore reducing or even denying the local government chairman the capacity to act on their own.
But some governors who are not favorably disposed to local government autonomy, they hinge their posture on corruption, which is wanton at the grassroots level.
You see, whatever goes around comes around. The same way some governors would have commissioners and won't hold ESCO meetings with them. The same way some governors will be in office and be running a one-man show. I mean, we've seen that happen in several states of the country. The same thing happens at the local government level too. The governors feel that you can't just allow the local governments a free rein, a free ride, without some checks and balances. But the moment they get there, those chairmen, it's like they grow wings. They become a law unto themselves too. So it percolates down right from the federal to the states to the local government level. So it's not a function of whether it happens at the local government level alone. The same thing happens at most of the time. The chief executives hold the executive power. Like the president is there, is the president, he has all the powers. The governor is there, it sacks and employs at his whims and caprices in most of the states. We've had 2 states where the ESCOs of the states were dissolved without any notice. The same thing happens at the local government level, but this with a difference, because the local government, the chairman cannot wake up and say he wants to sack the elected councillors, no. But then he wields some powers that, I mean, it can, if not properly monitored, can appropriate resources.
But
it happens especially in the states, in the north and other parts of the country. It happens. You will just discover that you only see the local government chairman when there is resources or there is allocations from the federal to be spent.
You talked about how the local government chairmen become a law unto themselves once they get into office. But let's not also forget that at that level, especially at the time of election, these local government chairmen are themselves candidates of what we know as the party structure. So therefore, the executives have a say in who becomes the local government chairman or chairman, as the case may be. We have Ola Wakon. Hello, Ola. You reported earlier a smooth exercise in Ikoyi or Balinde. By my time check now, it's nearly 1:30. So is the process wrapping up now?
Yes. As I speak to you, at Etiosa, the area of Etiosa, and it is raining heavily. Most of the polling units, there are no electorate there, and those that are there, the LATEC officials, some of them have, they're using canopy, some of them are using umbrellas. Electorates are not out. The APC candidates for BI LCDA, person of Rashida Tadu, just finished casting her ballot. And when we spoke to her, she explained that the reason why they have a low turnout because of the rain, and hopefully when the rain subsides, that they will mobilize the electorate to come out and cast their vote. But it's been peaceful. The number of voters has reduced because the rain. When we spoke, when I gave you the update earlier, it wasn't raining. The rain had subsided, but now it is raining heavily, and electorates are inside. They are not out. LASEC officials are just seated waiting for people, and there are nobody there. So that's just the situation. Same thing at Obalende, Ikoyi, Obalende, LCDA. So that's the situation as I speak to you. You said that someone is going to mobilize people to come out and vote in Etiosa after the rain, but because of time factor, would it still be possible, especially if the rains do not subside until voting time ends? Well, that is their plan. If the rain does not subside till till that time, then they may not be able to go out and mobilize people to come out and vote. But as I speak now, nobody is out. Just very few of them. Just very few. We've been to like 2-3 polling units where there are no electorate, just LASEC officials. Although some have come before the rain started, and then they've returned to their different houses, and others are not coming out, and they are just waiting for people to come and vote. So they are not out now. Just apart from the polling units where the APC candidate, just finished casting her ballot, other polling units, the people that were there were not encouraging at all. So it has just been very low. So hopefully, if the rain, subsides before then, I believe they'll be able to mobilize other people to come and vote. But if the rain fails to, subside, I think they will just make do with those that have voted so far.
Our correspondent Ola Wakon reporting Etiosa local government, and he reports low voter turnout, especially because of the rains. Let's hope that the rains subside soon enough in that area so that people can exercise their civic duty. But it is significant to note that earlier on, especially during our news update, one lawmaker talked about the rains being insignificant. But let's return to the studio. I was asking earlier, Mojeed, shouldn't then executives take responsibility for the character of the people that are elected as local government chairmen, if indeed most of them are seen to be their candidates, especially ahead of elections?
That's why we have the Ministry of Local Government Affairs. And I said earlier that there is what we call the Joint Accounts Allocation Committee, where representatives of the Ministry of Local Government will also sit down with the chairmen and I think treasurers or secretaries of those local governments, and decide to appropriate what is due to those councils and what projects could be executed with funds. So they don't have that leeway to spend at will. That's why some people have been clamoring for full autonomy to the local governments. But then, as it were, I don't think we are ripe to that level that we can allow local governments to run on their own. Just the same way the teachers are saying, no, don't allow local governments to pay our salaries. We prefer to stay with the state government. So that trust is not there. And it's to think that they don't have, it's like people don't see the local government as having that maturity to be able to be on their own, whereas, as we have said earlier, they are supposed to be the closest to the grassroots, where people will have that confidence to go to them, so that somebody who lives in Okera or don't have to go to Alausa anytime there is a little problem. Somebody who is in Aja, Badore won't have to come to Alausa to come and meet with the governor. That's why in counties in Britain and in provinces in America, some people won't even leave their locality at all. Somebody who stays in Oxford, for example, might not even need to go to London might not, for the rest of his life, because everything he wants is being provided by that community, by the local county. So, but here in Nigeria is a different ball game. You expect either the federal government or the state to do everything that even the local governments, even as little as the provision of markets, which is supposed to be a function of the local government, is being done by the state government. So it's really a very a serious matter. That's why people don't trust the ability of those elected at the local government level to have that maturity to deliver on their electoral promises.
Janet, very briefly, how can the excesses of the local government officials be checked significantly, whether they have autonomy or whether they're with the joint committees? Briefly, please.
The excesses can be checked if they have financial autonomy. I don't know about full autonomy, but that financial autonomy must be there. For you to be able to correct a child, you too must be he who has to come to equity will come with clean hands. If you want to check the excesses, the state too has to be clean, because some local government chairmen know that the amount that comes to them is not the right amount that they're supposed to get. So that means that they feel that they have been shortchanged. So they too will shortchange the people at the grassroots, and the state government cannot question them, because there is no moral justification for that.
All right. I want to thank you very much, Mojeed, Jamiu, and Janet Afolabi, for your time and thoughts on this segment of our election broadcast. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, so on to broadcast of the election, of the local government election in Lagos. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll continue. Stay with us.